Hi, folks. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Tuesday Night Talks. I know it's been a while and I appreciate your patience, but I guarantee you I am cooking up something really fun and interesting. And we have a guest on tonight. She's absolutely awesome. Her name is Stevie Lang, and she is the administrator of the Unity Center of Des Moines. Also, I believe it's facilitator of the Spirit Seeker Psychic Fair, which is held twice a year at the Unity Center. It is always a fun time. It is absolutely wonderful, and I am going to pull Stevie on to talk about it. Hey, girl.
Hey.
All right. So, what has been up with you?
How personal do you want to get? No, I think you mean specifically with Unity and the fair. Is that correct?
All the way around. I got to get groceries after this, though, so it's going to have to be another interview if it's going to be personal, right? But then again, honestly, I think everybody's been going through so much stuff this year.
Yeah, it's like what a year this week has been, kind of thing.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah, I think I'm in line with the universal energies and doing a lot of clearing in the first part of things that do not serve, things that do not work, relationships that needed to leave, showing up, being clear. And then like now that it's April, like today was just an amazing day as far as the weather and the sun and the clouds and all the flowers. And I saw a deer and an eagle today out in my hike, which was really cool.
Ooh.
Yeah. And a single deer in the east, which I took as a significant sign of pursuing peace and continuing on my solo trek at this point, preparing to be with a healthy partner.
All right.
I've had a lot of experience with the opposite. So
okay. Yeah. I know some of your previous's, so yeah.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Oh, a P.S. If Alicia says this is not the one, believe her.
Oh. Okay. Well, I'm sorry it went that way. I did not want it to be that way, but you what I get, all I got.
We do have free will, and I'm grateful for all the lessons. But just to the people watching, when Alicia gives you some indication about how it's going to turn out, she's right. So there's that.
Well, thank you for the confirmation, but I was really hoping I was wrong.
I know.
Beth Coles. Hello, everyone. Hello, Beth. Thanks for tuning in. And then Stevie, at some point you have got to come on the Psychic Roundtable. I know you're always busy doing cool stuff, but still, I think you would make a valuable panelist / commentator. Plus, you'd have fun.
I'll do it. I'll do it. I've been also intentionally making room on my calendar to do more of what I want to do and less of what I feel like I've had to do. I don't know. I'm guessing listeners can relate, but that's the messaging that I've been getting. I've been talking to some other women specifically, and that's what they're getting as well. That a good friend of mine says that you can do anything, but you can't do everything. So
I've always heard that saying, and you know me, or maybe you don't, but the second I hear that saying, what happens in my brain is, I will do all the things. Yeah, that's what happens.
How's that working for your life and your health? And
well, I'm making a lot of progress. I've got a lot of stuff going on at home. We have a mouse invasion.
Oh no.
Dennis didn't tell me about a hole in the foundation for about 8 to 9 months. He forgot about that. And I didn't know why we were getting, because we had a small mouse issue before, but we got rid of it. Just boom, boom. Okay, cool. Clean up, throw a few things out. And some people are like, oh, we could save it. We could bleach the dishes. Not me, man. If there is mouse on it, boom, it's gone. It's in the trash. It's gone.
Right.
Okay, I'm one of those people, And so I've been throwing out a lot of stuff. I'm looking at it now. It's probably in damages. It's going to be over $100,000.
Oh, Alicia.
That's not including the exterminators.
Oh.
I didn't know why it kept being so bad. And while we were moving the shop, he told me. I'm like, yeah.
That would be good information to have at the beginning, or that, that fixing that hole would be a lot less money in the end.
Well, he eventually did plug the hole after he may have been a little scared at that point,
Yeah.
so he went and he plugged the hole. But by that point, they've made other holes in the foundation. Because when we first got the house, Dennis and I, we ran around, mostly Dennis, we ran around and we plugged all the holes. Every hole we could find, we got it. We were on it,
Right. They're very small.
I know.
And they're trying to
small, but they cause so much damage.
So much damage. I know it. Oh.
By the way, I now regularly have a cat that hunts around my foundation. I'm not a cat person. I'm actually allergic to cats, but I'm about ready to just start laying out a plate for that sucker.
Yep.
It's like, here you go, baby. Thank you.
Thank you for your services.
But so we're constantly cleaning stuff up and throwing stuff out. I also found out the hard way I'm allergic to mice.
Oh, babe.
No, get this. Okay, get this. You are going to love this. So I'm allergic to cats, right?
Yeah.
Cats and mice have almost like 98.9% the same dander. How is that fair, right? How is that fair? That's not fair. Anyway, so yeah, both my son and I are allergic to cats. He loves cats.
Have you? Oh my.
No, the last time, and I have pictures, he held a cat. I mean, he had that thing, like he had it held. It was from one of my painting clients, and she had this really pretty great cat.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was holding on to that thing and squalling to let it go, and his face started swelling shut. Like, baby, we got that. Yeah. So yeah.
That's a severe allergy. That's not just like a few sneezes and itchy eyes. That's serious stuff.
We are both allergic to cats, and
it's time to get some snakes.
I know, right?
I mean, I'm like, what eats mice that it doesn't have fur?
Yeah, pretty much. Believe me, I've thought about moving cats in, like a whole herd of them. The only problem is I know how much damage they're going to do.
Yes, the whole you don't want that pain. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, but I'm there. I'm like almost there. I'm like this close. I'm like, I must pick up all the feral cats and throw them in the house,
Yeah.
But yeah. It's been wild. I mean, the audience knows about this. I've mentioned the ongoing battle at this point, and the mice are like, Yes. So yeah, fun stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
But no, but I will tell you, okay, last year was the roller coaster ride. It was the things falling apart, falling into place. But this year, maximum effort, sheer force of will. If anything good is going to get done, you have to be on it.
Okay, and that's the
theme. Yep.
That's the theme. What you make happen is what happens.
Bingo.
Well, that's in theme with clearing your calendar, the things that don't matter, and
exactly
focusing on what you do, because otherwise it's not going to happen.
Exactly. Otherwise it's just going to keep,
right. You just spiral and you don't get done what you want to get done because it's not going to happen by itself.
Bingo. It's not going to magically align. Now, once you start doing that work, more stuff is going to come your way. Cool stuff.
Right. Because that's the law of attraction and magnetism and inertia and all those natural laws. Yeah.
You have to basically be the engine and the driving force in your own life. And the thing is, kind of, I don't know if you read tarot, but that Chariot card, that's really, the Chariot card is, when you get that, it's like you are in the driver's seat, your hands are on the steering wheel, you know where you're going, you stay focused, you stay on it, and you keep going.
Yeah.
So, Chariot card for this year.
I'm curious, have you done tarot readings about this whole mouse situation?
I asked my guides. See, when I'm doing stuff for myself, I just kind of click into them, and they're like, "There's a lot going on." I'm like, "Yeah, no kidding." And they're like, "Do you really want to know?" And I'm like, "Well, They're like, just go back to cleaning. Just go back to cleaning. We'll talk at the end. So.
Oh, fair enough. Like you're not ready. And I've been, whenever I talk with people, especially if they're new to discovering their gifts, I feel like it's not talked about very much about how you don't have to drink from the fire hose. Like that communication, like you don't have to have all the information all at once. If you can't assimilate it, if you can't do anything about it, you can have a relationship where you're like, don't tell me all the things, just tell me my next thing. And then the next thing, like, because I can't like make it baby steps.
Well, no, my guides know that right now, a lot of the other stuff involved, they have let me know a few things, but a lot of the other stuff involved is just going to be a distraction for me.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to get irritated. And then when I get irritated, you know,
yeah, and then,
so like
and just blowers and yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how much you work with deity. Do you work with any deities?
Not specifically.
Okay. It's going to sound loopy as hell. I know 10 years ago, if I had said this to me, I would have been like, you need to take your medication. Okay. I know that. But no, I work with a couple of different deities. When my son was younger, some really nasty supernatural stuff happened with him. And it finally forced me to go and, you know, explore that option. And
yeah.
It actually turned out to be a good thing. I had a really good energy worker and everything like that. So things turned out not too bad. But it was actually, interestingly enough, it was all kicked off from going to a psychic fair where they did not practice good protection and grounding. Yep. Yeah. It's interesting, baby, but it did teach me that that's one of the things that absolutely needed to happen.
Absolutely.
The universe doesn't just do it. So.
No. And the people that come in, you know, aren't necessary. As I grab my throat like protection.
I know, right?
I got my selenite, I got my candle, I got my sage. No, Palo Santo is what I burned actually. But yeah, I have not wanted to look at the evil side of existence. That isn't where I vibe, and I've wanted to just pretend that that doesn't really exist, or it's a figment of imagination or whatever.
A lot of people do. And I myself prefer to stay in astrology and herbs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then this hit me right below the belt.
Right.
And so I had to.
That was my thing. That was my experience too. Actually, I had to have help. Someone got really upset with me. And it was my first experience with dark magic. And I was like, wow, like I wanted to die. Yeah. Everything was infuriating. Everything was breaking. I mean, it was nuts. And I had to get help. And it was just a lesson. And I still feel like I don't feed that vibe. And I'm not gonna spend energy. I've watched too many people be like, I'm going to fight them. And then they tip into that side.
I was going to say.
Playing, like, it's like going to the wrong side of the tracks and thinking you're going to convert them or something. Like, and there's a certain point where like, just don't go past this line. You stay on this side, you let them stay on that side and don't play.
My question was always why. And as it turns out, a lot of people decided to take up dark work as a hobby in 2020, like we would crochet. And I'm like, there's painting, there's crochet, there's decoupage. I mean, seriously, I give you like 1,000 hobbies right now. Just, you know,
I know.
But, and so you've got a lot of people getting into this that don't know what they're doing.
Not only don't know what they're doing, but they're using all that anger, all that hatred, all that stuff it feeds on. Mm-hmm. That's the energy that they're bringing to it. So they're not coming with a positive intent for the universe and everyone. They're they're picking something and they're saying that's my enemy, and then they're feeding that. Ugh.
And it's like they do it over the craziest stuff, stupid, petty stuff.
Right.
You know, it's not. Now I could see if somebody did something to harm your kid or a member of your family or something. Okay, I get it. I get that. But over something dumb?
But even then, let's say, because I will also say this because I know the person that did it. and I know how bad their situation is now. Like, I'm fine and they're not.
Yeah.
And I have heard before that there's a price for everything.
There's always a price
that you do in the negative way. And it's like that saying, two wrongs don't make a right, or like fighting evil with evil does not make good, does not make love and peace.
You just have to make sure that you've got a defense up. And that's where I was weak. I had never run into this before. Okay. Yeah. My dad had some stuff come at him when I was younger. And, you know, my dad, I don't think you know my dad, but he's like, he can deny a human out of existence. So supernatural forces stand no chance. Okay. So his will is just that strong. But so I hadn't really bumped into it. And then it slammed into me. Right. And I was like, what the hell happened? And so, because, you know, I mean, I always did the protection stuff around the table at fairs and all that stuff. But the myth that children are protected up until they are 7 is complete and utter BS. One, that is absolute crap. Stuff loves kids first and foremost. And if you think about it, it's very practical. They can't tell anybody and nobody would believe them anymore. So, yeah. So anyway, but apparently this kicked off a whole long journey for me where now I'm writing about it. I'm speaking. I've got a podcast. I'm doing books. I'm doing a magazine. Well, I'm actually doing 2 magazines, you know, so it kind of, that really backfired. You know, I know cosmically up there, they're like, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And I'm like, I wasn't where I want to be, you know? So I understand that, but it was a very rough journey to get here. So, but anyway, working it back around
deities that you work with.
Oddly enough, you know, I don't pray to them or anything like that. But when you work with deity, it's more of a, hey, so I'm having an issue. What do you want to help me out? It's always a method of exchange. You know, it's not. You can offer prayers and good things and stuff like that. Or you can say, hey, what would you like me to do for you since you've done all this for me? But it's always a medium of exchange. And one of the ones that I asked for help for a friend of mine who was having dark work put on her, that deity in particular taught me, don't agree to just anything, even if you trust the deity. Mm-hmm. She taught me a real quick lesson on that one.
Yeah.
She's like, now I'm a lot nicer about this, but I'm like, okay, sorry. You know,
that whole selling your soul to the devil thing.
Well, not really that. I'm just like, because my friend, somebody who I really cared about, she was being actually attacked. And I was like, okay, please, anything, please just help her. And the guy's like, okay, I'll help her. Anything, huh? Yeah, because I trusted her. I'd worked with her multiple times.
Right.
And she after that, she asked for something that was almost unattainable.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything bad. It was just, she asked for these 3 specific things that,
right.
And it had to be in a particular circumstance, particular way. And she's like, and now you understand.
Yeah.
You set those terms before.
Right.
And I'm like, thank you. Okay, I'll go work on this. She's like, and I expect you to pay this in. And I'm like,
meaning it doesn't get you off the hook for what I
No, it doesn't get you off the hook. So that way the lesson sticks.
Yeah, interesting.
She's actually really cool though. But the one that kind of, and oddly enough, a lot of mother goddesses for me, which is weird. Okay, I never would have thought that. But the one had been telling me for months, you need to clean your house.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'll get to it. You know, whatever. You need to clean. I'm like, okay, you're a mother goddess. I get it. Clean my house. She's like, you need to clean your house. She even showed up in a vision in a cleaning rag head cap with a mop going. Right. I'm like, okay, I need to clean my house. And then all this stuff happened. And I'm like, I needed to clean my house. And she's like,
I told you. I can't do it for you.
All right. And she should, but you know. So it's been fun. It's been an interesting experience. It's been places I never thought I would go.
You've got me thinking about
cleaning your house?
No, what I call it, my way of operating in the world is I call them nudges.
Yeah.
And I don't think, I mean, I have seen, I still say Jesus. I know some people say Yeshua or another name, but I feel like Jesus shows up. I felt like Angel Gabriel has showed up. I feel like Mary Magdalene has showed up. I feel like Kuan Yin has showed up.
Yep.
But not like what you're describing where there's any kind of barter. It's like they show up with a message for me and or show me like I'm going to be okay.
I've had messages.
That's how it
started. But when I needed help, that's when I had to go to them.
And you just got me thinking, because I'm like, when I need help, I ask for what I understand to be the source of life, like what makes the flowers bloom and the sunrise and the moon come up and all the like balance of the universe. Like specifically with the weather, I'll be like, it would be really nice if, and I will specifically ask for the exact weather I want, like temperature, wind, moisture content, whatever, or I'll say something like, it'd be really nice if the rain could stop. Well, I need to go from here to here. Then I'll say for as long as it's in balance with the universe,
right?
Because I don't want to cause trouble, but I'm just like saying, hey, it would be so great. And I would say 90% of the time I get what I asked for. I always say, thank you. Yep. And then I just live my life in a way that like always I'm asking like, how can I serve the greater good?
Right.
Like kind of every day. It's not like a specific like exchange thing. It's just like every day from the moment I wake up, like I just follow the nudges of, even sometimes it's give this person a compliment. Sometimes it's go through that door instead of that door. And I run into someone that needs help with their groceries or needs the door held for them or is lifting something heavy or can't reach something on a shelf or lost her necklace. Like those are all things that have happened in the past few months. And that's just you just got me thinking about that. I hadn't consciously broken it down. But that's
paying attention to your intuition and your guidance.
And that's how I operate. That's my life.
No, but that's how I've always been because that's how Dad raised me. Dad was big on that too.
Yeah.
Dad's been a clairvoyant since birth, but since he was a little boy, and he's always talked to the dad. And so he knew that when you get lost or when something happens, it's never a coincidence. It's never random. It's never an accident.
Yeah. Look for what.
Yeah.
Why you're there. What's your mission? Yeah.
Yeah. And so what is it? There's a saying, when you go from why is this happening to me to what is this doing for me or what is this teaching me, your entire perspective changes. And Dad kind of raised me with that. He's like, every time something happens, you have to look at your watch. What is going on? Some things will come to distract you and pull you off your path. Some things are nudges in the right direction, and you just pay attention to which. But always look at your timing.
Yeah. And when you say look at your timing, what shows up for you?
Well, what am I doing at that moment? If I'm doing the right thing and a bunch of stuff comes to distract me, I know that I have to put the distractions aside and keep moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
If I am, like you said, I need to be in that parking space, not that one. And all of a sudden, that the one that I vacated gets into an accident. Or, it's just all these things are set up and laid out on your path, but you're also working with a bunch of other people's paths.
Right. Agreed. So, yeah.
Hold on.
I believe that.
That is definitely scared. Beth Coles, steel wool to plug holes, living in the country. I've learned that trick. Thank you, Beth.
Yeah.
Dennis, you always drink from the fire. wow, alrighty then.
Called out. I wasn't even.
Dennis.
Uh,
Oh yeah, no, yeah. The chef burnt my toast. I must need the restaurant as well as leave a 1-star review. Yeah, that kind of thinking. That's the dark work path when you're just like, the chef burnt my toast. Let's leave a 1-star review. It's like,
right.
okay, dude, seriously, you burnt your toast. Get over it.
Right.
You're fine. You know,
Exactly.
you're not gonna die.
Order new toast. Like,
yeah. Or that, what is that meme? The Steve Owen sunglasses. But did you die? You know?
Yeah.
Did you die? You know?
Oh man.
Hold on. Beth. Peace, light, and love is my motto, and so the dark stuff isn't my jam.
Yeah, me too, girl.
One thing I have, and it never was mine, it still isn't. But one thing I liked, Tony, her new name, she's back to her maiden name, Tony Rogers. She always said, you have to know the dark to be in the light.
Yep. And
you have to know both.
Like I was saying, playing, there's recognizing, there's acknowledging, and then there's playing with, feeding, encouraging, which that's a different thing. Like I honor it more now than I ever did before. So I still
hilariously, I actually had at the spaceship building. By the way, you know that I've moved to Merle Hay Mall, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Cool. Both shop and big fairs, and I am loving it, dude. It is much better energy. Much
good.
Better.
Good.
But at the old spaceship building shop, I actually had one of my steady vendors sit me down and tell me that there was a rumor going around that I had hexed a bunch of the vendors.
Oh.
And I looked at her and I said, now you know me. I got no time. I'm too busy working. I got a kid. I got a house. I got a mom. I got 17 things that I'm doing at any given minute, business-wise and work-wise. I got psychic fairs. I got, baby, do I look like I got time to hex anybody? And she's like, no, you don't. Okay. But, I'm like, seriously, no.
Right.
Putting up a mirror and letting it bounce back to them is not the same as hexing.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah. There's a blame game happening. Yeah.
No, it's just, but it was funny. And she was a Taurus as well. And she's like, and we both started laughing because we both know that neither one of us would ever have the time for that.
Right.
It's just like, we got to keep going. We got a kid to feed. We got multiple kids to feed in her case, it's like, come on, gotta work. I think one time I was writing a class and I was almost past my deadline because Arthur had been sick or something. And Dennis watched me. I know it sounds gross, but Dennis watched me take my laptop into the bathroom because I had to go to the bathroom. And I'm like, and he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, the grind don't stop. Okay. Me getting out my little everything and trying to hex somebody. I don't even have time to get my stuff, I got too much going on.
I do. Too much good that you're doing it.
Well, and that's always my thing. When anybody starts with the hexing or anything, I'm like, you need to be busier. Yeah. You have too much time on your hands. Here, would you like some of my projects?
Yeah, exactly.
Dennis McCullough, I'm glad to be your distraction, honey. Aw,
that's sweet.
Grape jelly is a fairly dark jam. Is that okay? Yep. Yep. That's right.
Totally different definition of jam, but yes.
Yes, I know, right?
Real raspberry jam is quite dark as well.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It is. It's delicious.
My teeth wouldn't be able to handle it, but that sounds good. They're really sensitive to sugar.
Sensitive to sugar. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've been getting back into jam because my mom, she's actually diabetic, and so she has to have all the sugar-free stuff.
Sure. So you've had the sugar-free jams, and then that's okay. Yeah.
I'm doing good though. So Stevie, how did you become the administrator for the Unity Center, number one, and how did you start running the fair?
Well, they go hand in hand, but thing about my life motto of waking up and asking, how can I increase love and kindness in the world. I was invited to speak at Unity, I think probably 4 years ago now.
Okay.
And actually it was an event with Erin Stites, who was doing like a women's drumming circle kind of thing. And anyway, we don't need to go into that, but I was invited to speak.
Don't worry. I'm just checking to make sure we're broadcasting to Facebook and YouTube. Okay. Sometimes we have gremlin hiccups. Keep going.
Okay. So I started speaking, and then I saw that it was such a great vibe. Just this whole idea of, it's not anti-Bible, but it's also not literal Bible.
Yeah.
It's not anti-Jesus, but it's not like praise the Lord, hold up your cross and, put up a poster. And so I really liked it. And the services that I attended, I noticed the person that said, "Hey, welcome to Unity," and did the announcements and stuff, wasn't a consistent person, and they didn't seem to love what they were doing. And I thought, well, I would love to do that job. Okay. And so I said, "Hey, I'd like to do this, and I'll do it as many weeks as you want." Well, sooner rather than later, I was doing it every week.
Yeah. Okay.
And then this is another one of those spirit, God, universe, angels, synchronicity, living with intention things, where I had a caregiving client that I was doing about 20 to 25 hours a week, and her husband retired. And so that took my 25 hours a week to 6 hours a week.
Wow.
And at the exact same time, the administrator of Unity Center of Des Moines, Sharon Zegers, was put in her notice because she was moving across town, and was like, "I can't do it. Like, I'm not doing this." And I was on the board at that time and checked in with Spirit on, the amount of money, and I looked at my finances and everything. And basically I was able to make it. And through generosity, energy shifting, Spirit at work, like all these things, I got paid more than the former person. I did more. And I brought all of me, as far as like my technical and my art ability and my video ability and those things, I brought more, and I needed more to make a living because I'm not retired. I'm not getting Social Security. So all that to say, it was like, I just said, I need this to do this job. I want to do this job, and I'm getting that Spirit will provide.
Yeah.
Sure enough, it's been rolling. It's been absolutely amazing. And we've changed a ton of things. We've changed our statement of faith, our affirmation, the format of the services. We call it a celebration service, not a church service. Nice. And in the beginning of it, I say, "Hey, who's got something to celebrate that they want to share with the group?" And somebody shares something, and we go, "Yay!" And it's wonderful. And and then part of that role, I guess I first took the job August of last year. So August of 23.
Okay. And
so the fall fair, I was still relatively new. And so I still had quite a bit of help with certain things that I didn't understand. And this year I've still had help. I mean, it's still a community.
Yeah.
You can't, nothing at Unity Center is done all by yourself. Like, that's not even fair. But I do bring my technical abilities. Like, we have the digital sign up form and like the speaker lists and all the vendors on the website. And I've been sending out emails, getting people we've got some pretty exciting raffle items that we're going to have, some bigger ticket items. We are also going to have door prizes. And so it's one of those things where I'm administering the fair because I can. And other people on the board are like, "What about this? What about this?" I'm like, "Yep, already did it." And they're like, "Okay, great." That's wonderful. So
I'm here to tell you, man, running a psychic fair is not for the weak, though. I will tell you that.
Yeah, well, fortunately, we've got 28 booths, so it's not like, I mean, I'm filling the building. We don't really have room for more. And I'm going to have the speakers upstairs this time because we're that full. But it's
I
not
thought they normally were upstairs.
Huh?
I thought they were normally upstairs. I always saw them upstairs.
Well, every time I've been to the fair, and I mean, I haven't been to every single one, but they've been in the lower level to get traffic down to the lower level.
Ouch. Okay.
So now I need to put them upstairs. We're still having the lower level. And I'm really excited about our children's program because it's all about giving kids tools to connect with their personal spirituality and their intuition and trust their intuition. And it's all about God within you and the divine within you and love within you. And like everything is within you. And it's just a beautiful message.
It's really too bad that Angel Lynn didn't get into your fair because she actually teaches a full class on intuition now.
That's cool.
She would actually be a really good fit for that. I'm going to talk to her
for the kids program.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, have her come Sunday at 10:30. I'm speaking this Sunday.
Okay.
On knowings from nature.
I know. I don't know if she has something going this weekend or not.
But it doesn't have to be this weekend, but
I'm going to put her in touch with you. Actually, it would be better if, you know what? Let me know which roundtable you can be on. She's on quite a few of them. I'd love for you guys to sit down and talk because she's got the benefit of 50 years?
Yes, I love matriarchs. Yes,
psychic medium. I mean, Jesus. But yeah, she just started up an intuition class. Finally, we've all asked her. We're like, dude, you got to do this, okay? Yeah. And she finally did. I mean, it did take the passing of her son, her eldest son. But,
sometimes, if anything we have talked about today, it's that how those negative experiences lead to a new layer.
Well, and I'm really proud of her. She's really doing well.
Good.
She's not doing well, obviously, but she is using this as a way to push her forward. So, I'm proud of her.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome.
It would be completely understandable if she fell apart, but she's not.
Absolutely.
So she's a tough little lady. She's tiny too. God, she's tiny. I have a picture of her next to my son, and she is shorter and smaller than my kid. She is literally tinier and tinier.
Right.
My mom got to look at that picture, and she's like, I'm like, that's right, Mom. So, yeah. My kid's like 5 foot, and he's 9 years old. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But now... And again, I am so sorry. I really did want to be a vendor this weekend, but all my financial resources went into the move, the shop, and the fair. That was it.
Girl, you got to clean your house.
I know.
Like your team's been telling you, like for real.
I know.
And there's a lot of stuff. I mean, you're losing stuff that you wanted to keep, but there's a lot of stuff that you've been holding on to. You can let go.
No, but No.
All right.
Oh, but it's okay.
For me to say.
Honestly, I'm cleaning it in spurts because every time I clean, I'm knocked out for about 48 hours to a week, depending on how bad it is.
Because of the dander.
Yeah. Well, and the other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, though. The house is feeling a lot lighter.
Good.
Just kind of getting stuff gone.
Yeah.
So, I hate doing it. I'm going to be honest. I hate it. It absolutely sucks. I'm not going to put that up there, Dennis, because no, I'm not. Hoarders are way worse. Yeah. But no, I'm a Taurus and my mom's a Virgo. So we went in on this house together for my kiddo, so he would have a better place to be and everything like that than an apartment. Yeah. And 2 earth signs does not a Spartan house make. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. And the 2 earth signs are both female, so it's worse. Yeah. See, my dad is Capricorn. Mm-hmm. He's got some of the same issues. The thing is, we're not dirty. We're not pigs. We don't leave plates of food lying around, but we just collect stuff.
Right. And that's the trick. And yep. You have an invitation, whether you choose to accept it or not. Well,
it's really not an invitation. Yeah. So
some invitations are louder than others.
that's not an invitation.
I
That's
rescue you.
whatever they're inviting me to at this point. I don't want. I'm good. I'll pass. But no, it's a lot of stuff and it's a lot of work, but it'll be good. You know, I have thought about sinking temporary housing while I do all this because it is pretty. But we'll see if I can come up with the finances. We'll see.
Right, and that's the whole thing. But I mean, back to the fair.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
like I said, it's one of those things where I'm also understanding, even what you were saying about this particular year.
Mm-hmm.
I let my coaching business go, and I'm not doing readings professionally. I have done when someone's come to me, maybe they worked with me before, or I've had some really cool experiences where somebody came to me for something that I'd never worked with them before, but I just got the nudge, like talk to them anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were going through a problem that I've literally almost the exact same problem. And I was, oh, this is why you were sent to me.
Mm-hmm.
But that, that was a shift, and it was a shift because I needed to focus on some of my own healing and my shadow work, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And to whoever was saying, like, you have to know the dark to be in the light.
Yeah.
That to me definitely applies to shadow work. Like, if you don't do your shadow work, you're going to end up going dark. you gotta dig in there to be able to operate from a positive place in the world.
I can see that.
Yeah. So that's where I am at life. But what I'm trying to say is what's been so awesome to me is I've watched other women step up and step into roles that I was trying to do in the community. And now I'm like, go girl, like, thank you, because it's getting done. I don't have to do it all. And now that I need to take care of myself, it's getting done. And so I'm just sharing that with you for how it lands with you. But you don't have to do it all. Like it will get done, and your space for you, the space for me, will be there after I've done what I got to do for myself.
So someone else is going to come over and clean my house. Yay.
I mean, it might be just a matter of explicitly asking for that support.
Honestly, I've had a couple offers, but it's bad enough that I'd rather do most of it myself. Plus, there's a lot of sorting. Right.
I mean, so. It's again, it's funny as we're talking. I'm like, well, we are being recorded, so I'm like, do I say that out loud or?
Go ahead. It's not. It's
just you've got invitations. You've got people showing up, and just be aware. Just make your choices consciously, and be aware of when if it's attachment or pride that is causing your suffering.
No. It's the mice. They're causing my suffering.
Revealing attachment and pride, if you ask me, but you didn't ask me, so
it's one of those things. No, I'm actually happier with the direction that I'm going, the writing, the magazines, everything like that. I'm happier with changing venues at the shop and the fairs.
Yeah, it sounded like you needed to do that.
The fairgrounds was getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. And the spaceship building, while I do love it, it just wasn't where I was supposed to be.
Well, you didn't have the traffic because in that neighborhood, and you didn't have, the building needed help.
The building needed a lot more work, and I was under contract that I would have to do it all.
Yeah.
Not the guy that owned it.
Right.
And he and I both knew that there was no way that could have happened. But the entire reason I took the deal was I had planned on buying the building.
Right.
And that kept falling through. And I was like, this is a sign. It's time for me to leave. But I was still under contract. Then the tornado happened, and all of a sudden, poof, my contract is gone. So honestly, everything happened really well. It it was rough. It was rough. It was definitely rough, but basically more of that last year's falling apart to fall into place. So last year was in tarot, last year would have been the Tower card. So everything you built up is just falling down.
Was it an 8-year?
8-year?
Yeah, like year, was it an 8?
Possible. I don't know. Numerology isn't my thing. Okay. I know a little bit about it, but you want to ask an actual numerologist, which I've got to get back to a lady who I'm supposed to interview. She and I both just been sick.
Yeah, but, it's 8 year. And the numbers in 2024 is 8.
Okay. And then, so this would be a 9-year, right?
Correct.
So, and then that would also play into the maximum effort.
Yeah, and things ending.
Yeah. But actually, you know what? I'm happy with it. Awesome. Life is really heading in a better direction. I'm going to have to work for every minute of it. I'm seeing this with my clients. I'm seeing this with my vendors. I'm seeing this with everything. Going to have to work for it. I'm just glad. I know a lot of people that have done a lot of bad stuff to keep what they want. I'm glad I never actually compromised my morals and principles too much to keep.
That is so important. And I truly believe in the end, anybody who compromises themselves, it may seem like short term, they're getting ahead, but they're not.
Mm-mm. And
karma comes around. You reap what you sow.
I know.
You cheat and be cheated. I mean,
I've seen a lot of people in the New Age field, Wiccan, pagan, whatever field you want to call it, and they get going. They just get going and they compromise everything. That's one of the things I always liked about you, Stevie, and why I was so happy when I found out you had taken over Unity and the Unity fairs, because I don't see you compromising who you are a lot.
Not anymore.
I'm sure you have at some point. You know, you were a parent. We all have to compromise. You know,
well, and in my corporate life. Okay. I've definitely in the past compromised who I was to get ahead, for people to be pleased with me or to make more money, or, when I talk about attachment and pride, those have been two of my biggest vices. Mm-hmm. And so, I'm by no means like they're still present. Opportunities to work on that continue to appear. But yeah. I thank you for that acknowledgement and seeing that, because I truly feel like this role has been one of the biggest blessings in my life, and that I'm able to use all my gifts and my skills for good. And I'm thrilled at how people are lighting up and stepping up. For instance, our community room was cluttered. Yeah. And Deja and Marilee just took all of Sunday afternoon and completely revamped, decluttered, reorganized, and it's just wonderful. Deja got a group of people together and turned what had just become like a junk room into this beautiful children's space with original art and this code, and people just stepped up. I even had some stuff at my place that I wasn't using, and it fit perfectly in that space. And other people it's like the stone soup thing where everybody just brings a little they have, and then it makes this bigger thing. I mean, that's what's happening at Unity right now. And I don't know exactly where it's going to go, and I'm not attached to where it's going to go. Yeah. I just want people to feed love and appreciation. Love, gratitude, and peace, joy. Yeah. Those things. I want more of that in the world.
Well, honestly, I've always been a big proponent of the Unity Center for that, because it's always stayed so positive. Yeah. And I know some people in the metaphysical circles are like, oh, it's a church. I'm like, oh, well, it's a pretty open-minded church, so I don't really care.
And we did change our name to Unity Center of Des Moines. So, there's a lot of events going on outside of the Sunday celebration services that all of them support your wellness.
Now, where can people find that?
If they go to our website, unitydesmoines.com.
Okay, now can you put that? Okay, you know what? I will just type it up that way.
Can I do under comments?
Yep.
I can go do it in the chat.
Okay, cool.
Let me see if I can get in here. But it's unitydesmoines.com, and there's calendar, which will show you what's coming up at least in the next 120 days. And then it doesn't let me. I don't know what happened. You'll have to comment for me.
I got it. No worries.
unitydesmoines.com. So there's calendar, which gives you this month and then going forward. But 120 days out, it doesn't let me put one-time events. So, there's a little bit. It'll show recurring, but not the like one-time things. So at least for a few months, it'll show it there. There's a newsletter button. And this is all on the homepage, so you don't have to go far. The newsletter will tell you what's coming up in the next week. It comes out on Tuesday, and it'll tell you from Wednesday to Wednesday, including who's going to be speaking Sunday, and usually a little bio. It also has a link to YouTube on the last week's service. It has like what fundraisers things, what businesses we have, like that kind of thing. And then if you want to rent space for your event, there is right now it's two timing, the Spirit Fair and space rental. But after the fair, it'll just be a space rental. And I have a Google Doc for people to fill in, and that you can make it further in the future. And then I send people an event contract and closing procedures, then talk about money. And it's just been great. I mean, sometimes I've had multiple events happening in the building at the same time, and it's really all cool. Supporting people's wellness and community. And I just keep telling people, whatever is happening in the government, we take care of each other.
Yeah, that is true.
Take care of each other.
Well, we've also got
keep
in mind, this year's theme is cleaning out. And if you look at some of the things that are happening, even in the government, it's all astrologically aligned. It's all cleaning out.
I mean, that's where I'm at.
Cleaning out waste, cleaning out, the things that have been putting us under a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it sucks. It definitely sucks. It really, really sucks that it's going to be willpower driven. Sometimes, you feel like you don't have enough willpower to make it through. Okay. But at the same time, it's all about cleaning out endings.
Yeah.
Getting all of the garbage out. Literally sometimes. Okay.
Right.
All of the trash. All
the garbage. At least
that's right. The trash, the garbage, the stuff that, like a lunar eclipse, the stuff that you no longer need that you cling to is being ripped away.
Right.
And
in nature, something has to either be destroyed or die for the new to come in. Because once something is there taking up the space, the new thing won't come in. But a tree falls and it decays and it leads to new life.
Bingo. And that,
thing.
You're seeing it happen actually all over the world if you look at the events. But if you were paying attention to the planetary alignments and everything, which a lot of people don't, and that's fine. But if you're actually taking a look at it, you see that all this was coming. It's all lining up, And that's what it is.
And that's the whole, I also say that to people is like, I trust in the universal flow, and it's all,
doesn't mean it doesn't suck.
It's not right. I'm not saying it's all fun, but I trust in the flow. And just like the seasons, winter may not be as fun as spring or summer, but it serves a purpose.
I love fall and winter. They're my favorite. So,
me too. But I am just saying that some people have that.
And honestly, my guides gave me a heads up that this year was going to be rough, like last year. And they've already given me a heads up. Next year is going to be pretty rough too. We're just kind of,
thanks, guys. No, I'm kidding.
No, I'm glad to have the heads up, because that means I know what I need to do. And buckle down and keep pushing.
Yeah.
Buckle
Don't
down, use all
don't
that
quit.
Taurus willpower.
Right. Don't quit when it gets hard, basically. Stick to your goals, stick to your objectives. Is that what
Not
you're
just
saying?
that,
Okay.
I have to push even harder. Even when, I feel like I just want to nap. It's like, no, you get up and you keep moving. You can nap when your project is done. And it's like, okay, napping when the project's done. So, and inevitably, once I do that, then things end up better. It's just right now I have a little bit more recovery time.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, it's all a matter of maximum effort and willpower. And okay, I mean, I've honestly spoken with them and said, I don't know if I have enough willpower to do all this. And they're like, you'll find it. I'm like, so yeah.
I'm also hearing in that it helps us decipher what we really want.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I find that I have willpower for the things I truly want.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the willpower for the things that aren't completely in alignment with me, that are for other people, that are for perception, that are for things that I don't value. But when I really want it, I have infinite willpower.
Like I said, I'm glad you're heading up the Unity Fair.
Thanks.
I think this is going to be one of the best moves for you ever.
Thanks. I hope so. I've been saying, make it the biggest ever. And if you are watching this and it's before May 3rd, we have business cards at Unity that you can hand out to your friends that have a little QR code where you can look at the speakers and the vendors that are going to be there. And it just gives people information where we're at, because there's still people that don't know we exist.
Yeah. But it is what it is. Town's
and
best.
If you haven't been for a while because it was whatever it was with whoever people, I guarantee if you haven't been there in like the last 6 months, you're going to go, whoa.
Well, honestly, Dennis has joined a church, and now that I'm hearing this, I kind of wish he would have joined yours.
Well, there's always, there's always two-timing or
two-timing. No, actually, I might talk to him about attending some of your services, because it sounds like you guys are really positive and going in a positive, energetic direction.
Cool. Well, thank you. And like I said, you can go to the website and you can see who the speakers are.
Awesome.
So you can kind of gauge it by that.
Okay. I had actually
created everything. So if you want to make something happen,
I know, right? No, I had actually gotten information on you guys' substance abuse programs for my dad.
Nice. Yeah, we have a lot.
He was he's a recovering alcoholic.
Mm-hmm.
And so the lady, I believe her name was Laura, I think, older lady, Laura. She was absolutely amazing with me. She sat down and she talked to me and she gave me all of the groups and everything like that. And nice. She was the best because she really understood. Now, my dad didn't end up going because he liked going where he was going. Right. But he actually appreciated it and he told other people, and I think some of them attended.
I truly believe there's enough for all, and that we all have a purpose. So it's not about, I hear what you're saying about this year and pushing and willpower. I just also get the vibe that things meant for us will come into our path. And then we have this choice, whether we step forward, whether we lean into it, and if we want it or not. We have choice.
Well, yeah. Just because you have to push for what you want doesn't mean you don't have to push.
Yeah. And Dennis says he likes his church. And Dennis, nobody's telling you. Well, maybe Alicia is, but I'm not telling you.
Church. Thank you very much. Yeah, I know. No, it's you guys seem to have a really positive energy. You always have, but I like the fact that you're holding celebration services and everything.
Yeah.
So quick before I let you go, because I don't want to take up your whole night and I still have to go get groceries. Tell me a little bit about your vendor list for the Spirit Seeker Fair. Who are you excited to have? I know you're excited to have everyone, but
right. So I'm excited. This is our most diverse group. Okay. And let me just read off some of the things that maybe are, we've got our staples. We have some of the longest running matriarchs of the community doing intuitive readings, tarot readings. I mean, we're talking like 30, 40 years. Animal communicator, like we got.
Lois going to be there?
Yeah, Lois is going to be.
I love Lois.
Lois
Marilyn Elliott?
Marilyn Elliott, Anita Shakina. Like the Power Three. Laura's going to be there. Kathy's going to be there. Laura Jones with Loracle. Kathy Astro Eyes. Yes. So they're what is that? 5? Like the 5 Power Sisters are going to be there.
5 Power Sisters.
Yes. We also have Bill and Lynn Hook, they've recently relocated to the Des Moines area. They do QHHT. Lynn lost not 1, but 2 of her children, has written books, and has taken her pain and turned it into her gifts. We're going to have a Susan and Paul Kellogg, if you're familiar with them.
Yeah, the Kellogg's.
Soul Network presence on Facebook, and they still have their Soul to Soul Living. They're going to be talking about the clairs in their speech, and they're also going to be offering that guidance and helping individuals connect with their clairs at their booth. Jenny, yes.
Awesome.
Jenny Fulton has a company called Untamed Abundance, and she uses your human design, astrology, and her finance knowledge to help you align your life in what will bring abundance into you, because we all work differently. Yeah. And so that, she is absolutely amazing. And there is Stacy Allison, and I know you're like the whole list, but she has a company. She's new to the scene, or newer in the community. She was a principal that suffered so many concussions. She took it as her ticket to get out of the school system, and she's using all of her gifts to help spiritual practitioners and holistic practitioners to get their services out into the world, to let people know about them. She's got an online platform she's building to help do that. She's going to be connecting people and all that. Kimberly Busby is going to be there too.
Nice. I know Kimberly.
She was there last time. So the 6 Power Sisters, decades of experience. We also have, if you know Jo Mann, she's from India. She's going to be doing some Eastern astrology.
Neat.
Along with human design and some Ayurvedic food that's in alignment with whatever your Vedas are, and stuff I don't understand. That's why you come to the fair and talk to them about it.
Vedic astrology is wild. It's incredibly accurate, but that stuff gives me a migraine, man.
Yeah, that's a whole other deal. So, and then there's someone named Pamela Swanson, who connects you to your Mayan energy. I'm curious to learn what she's got to offer. But you can read all the vendors. We have 28 booths that are going to be there at the fair on May 3rd. It's on the website. And then there's workshops every hour from 10:30 to 3:30. And they're also listed on that same website. So
sweet. Now, any speakers that stand out on those workshops?
Well, Jenny is going to do at 3:30. Jenny is doing a Reclaiming Your Energy and the Power of Money, Aligning Wealth with Your Core Values.
Okay.
That sounds pretty amazing. And then Laura Rising, I forget where she came from, but she's got the Raw and Wild Heart. She's at 2:30 and she's offering You Are Psychic, and it's going to be an interactive presentation. So 2:30 and 3:30, if you can make those, I would definitely say come in the afternoon. There's good stuff all day, but
Saturday or Sunday?
It's all day Saturday.
Okay. All
it's
right.
our usual, it's just a 1-day fair. And that's something else that makes it a little different for our vendors is it's not a 2-day commitment. It doesn't take your entire weekend.
Okay.
It's just all day Saturday.
Okay. Wow. Nifty.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you've been a lovely guest, and let me know when you can do the psychic roundtable.
All right. Remind me when it is, because I know I get confused. I do well when I say it's on my calendar. I'm likely to actually show up.
You're actually a lot more organized than I am. Thursdays, 8:35 p.m. every week.
Okay. Let me
And then also wanted to talk to you. With everything that happened with Fair and everything, I had to get behind a little bit on the magazines. But for the summer issue, would you be interested in writing an article for Celestial Imprints magazine?
let me ponder that. Let's have
Okay.
more discussion.
Because I've got a summer issue, then I've got my double issue for the spooky season, which focuses on Halloween and Day of the Dead. You know, I'm huge on Day of the Dead. And then we've got the winter issue.
Okay.
So
hi.
So yeah, think about if you would like to do any articles on topics for those.
Okay.
And Spirit Seekers has another fair in the fall, right?
Correct. We don't have the date for that, but it's usually in October.
Okay. Well,
or sometimes November. It's one of the two.
Okay. Well, we will definitely put a shout out in the magazine for that.
Okay, perfect. I will get you the details once I have them.
Okay, no worries.
All right.
Thanks, Stevie.
You. All right, take care. Bye.
You too. Bye. Hey, folks, that was Stevie Lang from the Unity Center of Des Moines and the Spirit Seekers Fair, which you guys know I absolutely love. I have always loved the Unity Center for their absolute positive energy, and I hope you guys can all make it out there May 3rd. So, all right, guys. Mwah. Thanks for tuning in, and y'all have a lovely day, and I will see you on the Psychic Roundtable. And yes, I will be getting back to the podcasting schedule. I'm just not there yet. All right, my dears. Bye-bye, butterflies, and don't forget to be awesome.